Hey guys, it's Ari. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy to be sitting down with you and having a little chat today. I'm going to be talking about 3 tips you can utilize to learning how to forgive yourself in order to create limitless opportunities for yourself. You hear all the time that your mind can be one of the biggest things that hold you back in life. And I think that's such an important topic because self-recognition and self-awareness, self-understanding is so important when it comes to navigating just emotions, stressors, really anything that just comes with being a human being. So I want to dive into it a little bit, and I hope you can take a nugget of information today, maybe pass it along to somebody who might feel some encouragement from hearing it, and let's go ahead and get started. So first off, let me just explain the importance of why it is so crucial that you learn how to forgive yourself, especially if you're someone who operates heavily on their faith, which is how I operate, but this isn't just meant for Christians. This is meant for everybody, but specifically, if you are rooted in faith, you know that earth is filled with flaw. God is the only perfect being in existence. And so that means earth is filled with flaw. We're human beings, we're imperfect, and we're gonna make mistakes. The first tip that I wanna give you today is, number 1, learn how to acknowledge. For the life of me, I can't read my notes today. Acknowledge imperfection and embrace growth. Like I said, everybody makes mistakes. You're making them on a daily basis. Some are larger than others. We've all had things we wish we wouldn't have said to somebody or made decisions that we feel like wasted our time. And all of that is to grow and learn more about who you are and what you're meant to do in this life. So first off, simply learn to normalize making mistakes. Now, the degree of the mistake is obviously up to the lieu of the situation and yourself, but I do believe there is a balance between the issues and the normal issues that come up in life when you can learn to control yourself and how you react to mistakes and hiccups along the way. All mistakes is an opportunity for growth. It's naturally part of the human experience to make mistakes and screw up a little bit. Just know that because this is so normal, you also should allow yourself the room to give yourself compassion and understanding. How are you supposed to know how to navigate certain emotions or triggers from new situations in life if you don't forgive yourself just a little bit? One thing I like to remind myself of as well is sometimes if I feel like I'm talking negatively to myself more often than I should be, really you shouldn't ever be, but we all do it, I try to remind myself how the conversation would be going if I was talking to my best friend about it. They wouldn't be ridiculing me or telling me, shame on you, you're such an idiot, all the things that you try to internalize about yourself. They would be telling me to cut myself a break, that I'm a good person and I'm doing absolutely everything I can to take care of myself and continue on the path of growth. Sometimes you just need to remind yourself of that. So positive self-talk. This brain and this body is what is going to carry you through the rest of your life. You might as well take care of it and give it some compassion because deep down, you know that making mistakes are a part of life. I'm sure you're just as ambitious as I am to be successful, be a good person, and conquer this monster of life. But even the best people didn't get to the top without making mistakes and pivoting based off what they learned from that situation. So cut yourself some slack. So tying into my next tip, I talked about this a little bit just a few minutes ago, but tip number 2, practice self-consciousness and compassion. Compassion for yourself seems so scarce, doesn't it? There are days when I just feel like I did absolutely nothing or wasn't as productive as I should have been. And I blame myself for that. I think that comes from a place of wanting to stay accountable for my life and my actions because at the end of the day, I am the only person that can go out and grab the dreams that I have and make those a reality. But sometimes when emotions are high and stress is high, those emotions get blurred and you forget that the discipline you built is not going to be perfect. It isn't always going to be consistent. However, having mindfulness about just being aware of how your body operates and how you think about yourself is a step forward in the right direction. So learn to let go of your past mistakes. Being able to forgive yourself comes with mindfulness. And there are a lot of techniques that can help with building callus and endurance for doing this. It definitely is not a quick fix or an overnight remedy, but meditation, prayer, journaling, there are a lot of outlets available to you to just feel the emotions that you're feeling in order to recognize more about yourself and the way your body works. Typically, the way I try to stay present is I think of a few phrases that always seem to bring me back to reality a little bit. I heard someone tell me last year, or maybe it was a quote or something along the lines of, when you can just identify and acknowledge a negative emotion, it passes through your body quicker. Similar to like a journaling technique. Typically, when you can put your feelings into words and identify them, they're not so scary. Over time, you'll learn how to acknowledge and label negative feelings and certain negative emotions more often, and it'll also pass through quicker. We all know that we struggle with emotions we feel consistently, or problems that we dealt with years ago that seem to come up 5 years in the future. Emotions are the same way. We only have so many built inside of us as human beings, and they're going to be reoccurring. They just may not look the same. So I would encourage you to find some techniques that help you stay present in the moment and remember that no one is expecting perfection of you. And finally, tip number 3. This one has a little bit more, in my opinion, to do with mistakes you've made towards others, which we all have. And so tip number 3 today is take constructive steps towards amends. 2 key words I want to highlight in this snippet of conversation: the difference between healthy remorse and guilt. Guilt comes from a place of lack of acknowledgement a lot of times, whereas healthy remorse is a lot of times put into action and taking healthy steps to move forward, be better, improve, amend yourself, set yourself free from the guilt of the past. There are a lot of different steps that you can take to rectify situations where you feel like maybe you were the instigator of a problem or an argument and you want to move forward, but you don't quite know how. Accountability is probably where you should start no matter what. Asking for forgiveness from somebody else, just take accountability for it. Acknowledge the parts that you are responsible for. If you are genuinely going to somebody and taking accountability for your actions or something that you felt wasn't justified on the actions that you took, that is so amazing. You are just so amazing for doing that. And depending on the situation, it's up to the other party to reciprocate that same feeling. And just because you have had a hard time taking accountability in the past and forgiving yourself, even just forgiving yourself for not forgiving yourself quicker, starting with accountability is the first step forward. And there are many customizable steps to take after that where you can continue along the line of improvement. Just remember that through all of this, the human emotions are so complex. I wish I had all of the answers, but I don't. You are complex, your emotions are complex, and so is life. So in reality, they all work well together, but naturally as flawed human beings, we're programmed to criticize ourselves and criticize others. We can always improve. As long as you are constantly trying to improve yourself, doing your research on what works best for you and taking steps forward in the right direction, that's all anybody can ask for. And you should be very proud of yourself for doing that. Even watching this video, I'm proud of you for being here. And I'm really, really happy you decided to join for this brief conversation with me. And hopefully you can encourage others by sharing examples of times that you've had to forgive yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm very excited to hear some feedback, hopefully, if there's anyone that wants to leave a comment around your thoughts on this topic or maybe tips and tricks you have to learn to forgive yourself more and unlock that unprecedented potential you have. Have a wonderful weekend, conquer your week next week, and I will see you so soon. Bye guys.